Yes, it's the incredible Fred Burner.
Up here on second thought. So I'd like to take a few moments to introduce the new AI for Good Impact Initiative. Now, AI for Good was created by the ITU in 2017. Now think about that for a second. That's an eternity in terms of AI years. And speaking of which, could I have a show of hands? Who was here at the very first summit in 2017? Okay, I'll get all of you a free t-shirt afterwards. Come see me. Congratulations. So AI for Good was built on the premise that we now have less than 10 years to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And AI holds great promise to advance many of those goals and targets, from climate change, to education for all, to affordable healthcare, to gender equity, agriculture, natural disaster management, and more high-tech solutions like robotics and brain-machine interfaces, which you saw earlier today, which personally I was blown away by. And I think it's safe to say that the use cases are undoubtedly there. So what exactly is AI for Good? Well, simply put, the goal of AI for Good is to identify practical applications of AI to advance the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and figure out how to scale those solutions for global impact. Now, how do we do this? Well, first of all, we can't do this alone. That's why we have 47 UN sister agencies as partners of AI for Good. That's virtually the entire UN system, contributing to and leveraging AI for Good on a weekly basis. Now, the experts themselves, and many of you are here in this room, would say that AI is too important to leave to the experts themselves, and great efforts have been made to bring as many different diverse voices to the table, from industry to academia to the UN system, NGOs, civil society, government, and yes, even some robots, which you've all seen outside. Now, one of our catchphrases is that we are more than a summit. Now, most of you know the summit because you come here in Geneva every year, and that's great. But during the pandemic, we created an online community. It's a smart matching platform called the Neural Network, and we just passed 30,000 members from 103 countries. Actually, we wrote this speech yesterday. And that includes basically 10,000 academics and scientists from top universities around the world, from 180 countries, and about 1,600 employees from the UN system, and of course, very strong industry, NGO, and civil society participation. And we host about 160 online events per year. So that's basically what we're doing here, online, every other working day. And that generates a lot of collaboration efforts. For example, AI for Good helps to bring a pathway for standards development related to AI, and the ITU now has 220 standards either published or in development, covering areas like network management, cybersecurity, multimedia, energy management of data centers, and also network optimization. And we do this in partnership with a number of sister UN agencies like WHO, WIPO, WMO, UNEP, FAO, who sees ITU as really a partner at the intersection of telecommunications, AI, SDGs, and global challenges. And also our machine learning advanced SDGs. And many of these are coming from developing countries. Actually, most of the competitors are from our creativity of the crowd. Now, this goes beyond niche use cases, and basically find a way to scale AI for Good activities across all SDGs and all regions of the world. And that's why we created the AI for Good Impact Initiative, to move beyond an event, to move beyond a knowledge and networking platform, to one that can generate AI for Good projects and solutions that are inclusive, scalable, repeatable, sustainable, and measurable, and of course, mapped to the SDGs. Now, some examples of these activities would be hosting regional programming. In fact, we have our first regional program in India this year called AI for Good Impact India, which would be part of our WTSA conference. Also, scaling our challenges and competitions, many taking place in developing countries, conducting surveys, research, policy guidance, building a pathway for more standards development, best practices and benchmarking, and also engaging in capacity building and training to basically assist developing countries in bringing up their AI literacy and capabilities. So to achieve this, we're asking for support from all of you, the AI for Good community. And what are we looking for? Funding, obviously, the easy one, but also cloud and compute resources, inclusive data sets, knowledge and expertise, and thought leadership and visibility, leveraging all of your extensive networks. Now, to help us turn this vision into reality, I would like to invite a dear friend and colleague, a true AI visionary and pioneer. She's basically the inventor of the Falcon large language model. Can we please welcome to the stage Dr. Etisan Al-Mazuri.
Thank you, Fred. Your Royal Highness, Your Excellencies, esteemed guests, allow me first to extend my sincere gratitude to the ITU and also to the AI for Good team, and especially my special gratitude goes to the Secretary General of ITU, Doreen, for her pivotal role in leading the AI for Good. Now, as the chair of the AI for Good Impact, there is a huge responsibility, but also I am fully committed to drive the AI for Good impact at a global scale. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AI for Good Global Summit today. We stand at the crossroads of technology and humanity, where innovation goes for a purpose. When AI for Good began as a vision, it transformed into a mission. Not only that, we need to empower and drive AI for Good to harness the full potential of AI for the betterment of our world. AI holds the promise of leveling the playing field, improving access to essential services, and fostering inclusivity. As we embark together on this journey, let us reflect on the profound impact AI can have across the United Nations Sustainable that are essential to empower communities to make informed decisions and also drive sustainable development. Let us all ensure that all of these AI benefits reflect a positive impact across all sectors and industries. We need to ensure we have access, as my colleague Fred mentioned earlier, shared computing resources. We need to share our technological advancements with everyone. We need to ensure that we have inclusive AI governance frameworks and regulations. And of course, we need to align our efforts and unite our effort to have capacity building. Ladies and gentlemen, generative AI has opened new possibilities for us, allowing us to envision a world transformed by intelligent systems. Not only that, but also you can picture a healthcare system where patients can connect with specialists across distance. With generative AI today, we can have early detections for diagnosis and diseases. Also, you can imagine a classrooms where you have tailored teaching system based on our children's needs in each classroom and in their location in various countries. Today, we are in this pivotal moment that we need to unite our resources. We need to share our breakthroughs, save lives together. It is this an inspiring vision for this humanity to unite with each other. But there is something that we are missing here today. We need AI for good projects, solutions, frameworks that they are scalable, repeatable, measurable, and also the most important thing, governance of AI. Yesterday, during first UN Governance Day, we explored the implementation of AI frameworks and how it will evolve. Of course, we explored the implementation and how we can the best practices across different countries, and also how we can unite our resources together and in ensuring that we have inclusive AI governance frameworks and regulations. One of the key things that it was evolved from our discussions yesterday is we need to have responsible collaboration. We need to ensure accountability. We need to ensure inclusivity. By these principles that stood out as essential to have a collective success. Why is our collaboration is essential? Because there is no single entity, being a government, corporation, or even research institute, can tackle these challenges alone. We should amplify the impact of AI across all the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, transcending borders and boundaries together. Let us commit to fostering collaboration that spans disciplines and sectors. Let us also act across all the SDGs, knowing that progress in one area reverberates through others. Let us harness AI not just a tool, but as a force for good. A force that uplifts communities, protects our environment, and leaves no one behind. Collaboration among governments, NGOs, private sectors, academia is vital to scaling AI for good initiatives and deploying innovative solutions that can accelerate progress toward the SDGs. By uniting our resources, our collective expertise, we can ensure a more equitable and prosperous future for all of us. Let us ignite hope, inspire innovation, and drive AI toward a future where its impact is truly for the greater good. Together, we can create a world where technology uplifts humanity and fosters a brighter future for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ektasam, and thank you for sharing your vision and having the energy and commitment to help move this forward. So, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Her Royal Highness, Princess Beatrice, for a fireside chat with Dr. Ektasam. And Princess Beatrice, she's a strong advocate of education and literacy, and we would like to discuss basically how we can make AI literacy more mainstream and what kind of education system and resources are needed to make that happen. Princess, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much.
What an inspiring panel to be joined. Thank you so much. What an amazing opportunity. And I'm incredibly inspired and so grateful with everything that you've already said to make sure that we're all working together to do that. So thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. It's a privilege for me and for the whole audience, I believe.
First of all, I would like to thank you, Royal Highness, for joining us today and also being one of the initial contributors and members of AI for Good Impact, and we are looking forward to work closely with you to drive the good impact of AI across all the 17 SDGs. Your Royal Highness, given your inclusivity and of course your focus and advocacy for education and AI literacy, what are the key components that you can think that AI literacy can be integrated in our educational systems?
Well, thank you so much. Should I maybe sort of start by saying what drives me as an individual, what drives me now as a mum, is the fact that we really do have to figure out how these incredible technologies can be best utilized. When I think about the fact that we've got 10 years on the clock now to solve some of the world's biggest problems with the SDGs, there is no other opportunity than to turn to technology to do that. When I think about SDG 4, with the right to quality education, I really get inspired by the way that technology can act as the great connector. We really need to be focusing on this with every fiber of our being, and I think you've really outlined that already. I came to my kind of technology career not as somebody that was more sort of, I didn't study technology at school, but I was passionate about looking for opportunities and looking for how things could be done differently. And that's what's really led me to foster this belief that we can reimagine our education systems in line with the great use of technology to make a more inclusive and thoughtful leadership example. But our education sector needs as much help as we could possibly give it. You know, we really do have to lean in to make sure that we can offer tools and solutions that everybody can adopt. But I'm so inspired by some of the ways that we can apply technology, which means we can create connected classrooms, we can help teachers with the resources and opportunities they need, and maybe give teachers that bit of leg up that they could really be inspired by. You know, we really need to focus on, you know, making sure that our sort of technology leaders for the future are also having the right teachers, if that's the right way around, yes. But, you know, teaching for me is the best opportunities that young people have, and great leaders need to be fostered, and technology is a fantastic way to bring a very large mouthpiece to an organization. So AI literacy is a huge part of that. But actually, you know, if we drop the A for a second, let's focus on intelligence. Let's focus on investing in human intelligence. Let's focus on that platform for collaboration and actually what intelligence in its core form can really deliver and how we can actually make those changes.
So when we met in Geneva a few months ago, I remember we had a very engaging discussion. And what struck me was your passion for education. And, you know, how are we going to help all segments of society live in a world with AI? So not only school children and university students, but everyone, and especially marginalized communities. So do you have any thoughts or ideas how we could basically infuse AI literacy into all segments of society, and especially the marginalized communities?
There's so much to do, and actually what I'm seeing firsthand is actually the great moments for collaboration that are already happening. You know, we've seen some of the fantastic showcases today of some of the great institutions that are really leaning into robotics, but even, you know, with what we can be teaching children with around early stages robotics. But I think the most important thing we need to be looking at around all communities is where are the role models as well? Who are the people that we can be inspired by, like yourself, who is an AI leader, especially for young women? These are some of the things I'm really excited about in terms of the way that digital inclusion, especially in emerging markets, can really change the dynamics. You know, we can foster literacy on financial inclusion. We can create connected classrooms, and we really can just try and do everything possible in our power to make those changes. But the education sector really does need us to lean into it. The education sector is still something that hasn't really changed for 100 and something years. So if we are going to be able to see the impact and the changes, we need to lean in now, and everyone needs to take a role in that. Whether you're a parent, a teacher, or a student themselves, you have to lean in to make this an inclusive environment to work in.
Thank you, Your Royal Highness. Your Royal Highness, what do you think the role of the partnerships between education institutions and also AI organization in promoting AI literacy?
I think, as I said, everybody has a role to play in this now. This is what I'm really enjoying about using this incredible platform with Aiforgood. You talked about the fact you've got 47 UN organizations that are backing Aiforgood. That is outstanding. That is outstanding to see the level of contribution that everyone's prepared to make, to realize that harnessing intelligence can really make the changes. But I think bringing the voice of young people into the conversation is also really critical to make sure that they really feel like they have a sway in their future. I've really enjoyed working with the ITU Generation Connect in order to make sure that young people feel like they can invest, they can have a seat at the table, and they can make some of those changes along the way. This is a collaboration effort. You're demonstrating it with everything we're doing with AI Impact. 47 UN organizations, that's unheard of, so it's a fantastic opportunity to bring in that level of understanding, but also that level of collaboration. And the time is now to collaborate. There's no ego in intelligence these days, and I think business has to play a vital role with really sort of coming to the table now to realize that young people need to see fantastic opportunities. And I'm a technology optimist, but I'm also I want to make sure that I'm doing everything right by my daughter, so she knows that she has a future.
Well, thank you so much for everything you do, and for your energy, your commitment, and also the moral support. I think it really helps a lot.
I am certainly passionate about this, so I hope that comes across.
Very good.
Of course, Your Royal Highness, I would like to thank you again for joining the AI for Good Impact initiative, and we are looking to work closely with you and to bring your optimism in the AI for good and uplifting the AI for good for the betterment of our worlds, especially in education system and AI literacy.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be a part of it.
Thank you.
Okay. And with that, I'd like to bring up our next guest. So he's the Director General of International Affairs for MIIT from China, Mr. Xiaofeng Xu. Welcome.